Morning, everybody. Grab a cup of coffee and a donut or three, and let's do some switching. Happy Sunday, everybody. Gonna start a new session today. Use the Western Maryland GP40. We're coming in from the west, just like they did in Chillicothe. So the first industry we're going to switch is ITT Grinnell. Got a lot of box cars in today's train, which I like. I grew up with box cars, so I like to see that. So we have to pull the box car in spot 2 at ITT Grinnell and replace it with the car that was directly behind the engine. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to pull both cars out of the building so we don't have to keep going back and forth in the building. Then we'll disconnect the second car. We'll attach the first car to the car that's going to be delivered. And then we'll get the pickup out of the way and push the deliveries in. So a little bit of back and forth. Been reading a book by, I think it's Tom Klemonsky. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't remember for sure. He's the one that has that really neat HO model railroad. I think it's the Georgia Northern. It's about building the right size layout. And he talks in there about several of the operational things you can do, like opening gates and derails and stuff. And he said one of the rules that they have is that the gate is supposed to be open before the engine starts proceeding down the spur. And I've always pulled right up to the gate and then opened it up. So I don't know if that's true everywhere or just on that railroad that he models. But that's what I did this time. I opened the gate before I actually went down the spur. I guess it would help protect the gate if your brakes failed. So we left the Illinois Central Gulf boxcar, set the brakes on it. Now we're going to take the SP boxcar and attach it to the C&O boxcar, and that's what we'll be pushing back in here in a minute. This is probably going to be a 5 or 6 part video to keep them all at a reasonable length. It's been a busy week here with so my daughter came for a visit on Tuesday for a while. Then she and her friends went camping. And then they stopped back by today on the way back to Arkansas. Yesterday we had a new roof put on the house. And we were really worried about how Chance would handle all that banging and everything. But he did okay. But more about Chance later. All right, so the two cars that are attached to the locomotive are the ones that are going to be delivered, but we need to get the Illinois Central Golf box car out of the way. Since I had filmed all of the Oak Hill Industrial Railroad at one time, actually I hadn't run the railroad for a couple of weeks, and my switching mojo was weak. One time when I went down a couple of pair of cars, I derailed the car and flipped the coupling stick about 2 feet away somehow. So someone asked me how long it took to make these videos. If you notice in this video, I've got the camera on the tripod with the gimbal, and I don't move it. I just swivel it and zoom in and out. And now there's still several cuts in here where I messed up a couple things, like I told you about the coupling thing. So I still had to put a few videos together. But that doesn't take as long when I do it this way than it does when I'm moving the camera all around. So this one I'll probably have, maybe hour and a half wrapped up in it, something like that. It's okay. It's part of the hobby that I enjoy, especially now that I'm sort of at a lull in building things until I figure out what I want to do. It's I've got time to do it, and I enjoy doing it. And I have reached 1,200 subscribers now, which doesn't sound like much when you consider like Jawtooth has 171,000. but it doesn't matter. I'm not after to be the biggest YouTube channel out there, and YouTube hasn't been knocking my door down to throw any money in my way, and that's fine too. I saw on Facebook today where Roy Smith was in Pennsylvania at the N-Scale weekend, and I'm really glad to see him there because I know he's been having some health problems, some problems with his eyes, and glad he was able to make the trip. It's a little bit too far for me to go. All right, so we're going to creep into the building here at slow speeds for the safety of the workers. And as usual, I stop just outside the door because when you uncouple with the coupling stick, the cars always move back a quarter of an inch anyhow. Had a tremendous amount of trains here this morning through Georgetown, but been kind of quiet this evening. Just heard a motorcycle go by. And the birds that were here the other day must have migrated on, because nothing like we saw the other day, like I showed you in the video. Just closing the gate. I figure since we're going the other way, we can close the gate. Well, yeah, as soon as I said that about the trains, here comes one. Don't know if you'll get a chance to hear him blow before the video ends or not. When the locomotive gets back to the cars, we'll end the video here, and I've got a little update about Chance at the end. I'll just leave the voiceover on. Maybe we'll get to hear it blow while I'm talking about Chance. I'm walking Chance. About an hour ago, he had the worst seizure he's ever had. And he hasn't had a seizure in months and months. We don't even know the last time it was. But my wife heard a noise out on the deck. And he had collapsed on the deck. And in his convulsions, he was kicking the deck chairs around and everything. So we got those away so he wouldn't hurt himself. But his neck snapped back and he started howling. He's never done that. He seems to be okay, but it was really scary. And we thought he was out of the woods, but we never know about him. Everybody stay safe.